I call Judith Cochrane.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I welcome the opportunity to speak on the motion before the House today. In the run-up to the Christmas period, where the financial toll of the festive season can have a significant impact upon all those within our society, it's important that we try to focus on economic issues, and not least our small and medium-sized enterprises upon whom this motion is centred. I welcome the motion before the House and the work undertaken by Billy Banks, which so aptly lends itself to this debate, but would say that there's a need for a measured analysis of the extent of the interest rate swap agreement mis-selling here in Northern Ireland. In the wording of the motion, the members raised concerns at the outset that local banks may have been mis-sold interest rate swap agreements to local small and medium-sized businesses. While the statistics and evidence of mis-selling in practice across the UK has been well evidenced, we should be careful just about pointing our finger at any local bank without having the full details from the findings of the FSA. A large number of banks which operate across Northern Ireland and GB are cited by the Billy Banks survey as having mis-sold these products, but conversely, at least one prominent local bank, namely the Northern Bank Limited, has been found not to have sold any such products to their customer base. The UK-wide report published by Billy Banks, to which others have already referred, provides an unnerving depiction of IRSA mis-selling over the past decade in a variety of different banks. In each instance, there appears to have been a concerted and deliberate effort on the part of the banks to take advantage of the prevailing economic uncertainty in order to maximise profit margins. As we've already heard, in the face of an increasingly competitive and cutthroat financial system, banks have set about creating new products and services to sell to existing customers, with interest rate swap agreements being one such product. These IRSAs were subsequently marketed to small and medium-sized enterprise owners by many high street banks, often on a conditional basis and in most instances as an incidental when granting new or extending existing loan facilities. And this reality is reinforced by the statistics that have already been mentioned, which show that 85% of members were sold an IRSA in connection with their loan facilities. Perhaps more startling than this exploitation, however, is the nature in which customers who rely upon banks for guidance and support all the more deeply during such fraught economic times were advised and managed in relation to this mis-selling. Others have already stated some startling figures in relation to the advice given to SMEs, with the majority of the customers perhaps wrongly assuming that this advice would be in their best interests, but instead structured and targeted advice was provided in an effort to encourage the customer to enter into various forms of IRSAs. What remains evident in all of this is the seemingly unethical tactics employed by banks to aggressively sell their products and their manipulation of the customer through the advice that they offered. In my earlier remarks, I stressed the need for a measured analysis of the extent of the mis-selling here in Northern Ireland, and when this information becomes available, we would of course ask that banks adequately compensate local businesses who have suffered. It's important to state our case to the Minister of Finance and Personnel so that he may engage with the banks further to ensure fair treatment for those customers who have been affected. However, as banking is not a devolved matter, it will be Westminster, I assume, who will decide how this ultimately is addressed. I welcome the motion today. It does much to highlight a worrying practice in an equally worrying financial climate, and I commend the members responsible for bringing attention to such a critical issue. The Alliance Party will offer our support today to the motion, to the awareness it raises and to the engagement it seeks. Thank you.